You are listening to the Mark Lesko Podcast, a podcast by diehard fans for fans. Mark covers all things Penn State football and the Pittsburgh Steelers, as well as anything related to the sports and fitness world. Tune in weekly to listen to a couple of dedicated fans talk about these topics without filters. Thank you for listening to the Mark Lesko Podcast.
All right, everybody, welcome into the College Football Playoff Watch Party. The final College Football Playoff reveal. Kirk Herbstreit's on the screen.
Yep.
Which is never good.
Nope. Nick Saban's on the side. Greg McElroy, Reese, Boog.
Kirk Herbstreit is the biggest moron of all time. He's there strictly for Ohio State and only Ohio State. Just listen to what he says. He'll be clearly biased towards Ohio State and why they should be number one. Kirk Herbstreit, I think, will have Ohio State 1 and Penn State 12.
Right.
And then it doesn't matter in between.
Yeah.
So, Saban is a legend.
Yeah.
Good to have him on there. But,
right.
Yeah, man. So
SEC, though.
I have my background noise down, so I don't think you guys can hear my TV, which is good.
Can you hear mine? I have mine turned on.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I did. Okay, good.
But Jared, you keep talking. I'm going to be right back.
Sure, bud.
Yeah, we'll take it from there.
Cool. So what you have, guys, the very first playoff committee for 12 teams. I mean, that's pretty awesome. What you have right now, for me, again, being a movie guy, I almost like this is like the awards opening for Best Picture, like they show the Oscars, like they do the nominations and stuff like that. It's kind of what this is. Like, it's not a question of how good was the movie. It's a question of who has the best movie. So, I mean, it's right now, obviously, they're going to probably put Oregon at 1. And the next question is, it's like Georgia goes number 2. I think either, I don't know, Arizona State or, I mean, either Arizona State or Clemson is going to get that 3rd spot, and then whoever doesn't gets the potential 4th. I mean, I don't know. The ACC championship, Big 12 championship, and the Mountain West. I mean, I'd like to think that they would probably put ACC, Big 12, Mountain West. I mean, maybe that's how they'll do it. I'm not sure. I mean, personally, I think that Mountain West and then Big 12, there's a lot of things that they got wrong with the Big 12 this year. I mean, if I'm right about this, they had the preseason shows that Arizona State had no chance of going, into anything this year. I think they said they had them dead last in the Big 12. So they totally surprised everybody. I think they had teams like Oklahoma State and, who was the other big one that they had? Like, I know they had Kansas pretty high. I mean, it was very much flip-flop throughout the entire Big 12. So you really cannot predict how a season's going to go down. I mean, they've played absolutely lights out for most of their season. They definitely have earned the right to be here. I mean, that's Scadaboo. I mean, he's definitely one of the more impressive running backs in the country. But, Boise State with the Ashton Gentry I cannot say that kid's last name for the life of me. I'm so sorry, guys. But it's pretty impressive what certain teams have used to get themselves where they are. I mean, I know that they had Oregon take on Boise State at the beginning of the season, and they did not look all that impressive against Boise State. So, I mean, Boise State has some pretty decent players. I'm not going to say that they don't have a chance to hang with, like, a Georgia or a Tennessee or whatever, but, like, they definitely have some interesting path. Like, I mean, Indiana is, again, a very mysterious team. You don't know what you're going to get from a team like that. Going 11-1, the only loss is Ohio State. Sounds kind of familiar. I mean, for Penn State's case, it's the next day. We've had a chance to kind of sleep through it. I mean, we process it as best we can to know that yeah, we still love this team. We still want this to be the best possibility or opportunity for them to go somewhere. I know that they can play. I know that they showed it. They showed it last night. They definitely have every opportunity to do something. So yeah, I'm saying that it doesn't matter. Like, you give us Notre Dame, we're going to play our guts out. You play, you know, Tennessee, whoever. I mean, it's definitely Texas. You can throw any name you want. I think Penn State certainly has every opportunity to beat whoever they play. So yeah, it doesn't really matter about their seeding as long as they have a chance to do something. I'm going to say that Penn State will definitely be in the conversation.
All right. Illicit, why do you think we're not at 5? Because I think we get 5 no matter what. But
well, I like his logic because I think that because Penn State was third and they were second, we both lost and they were still ahead of us. I can understand that logic about that.
yeah, I mean, I think. Okay, that's based on odds, he says. I think that the 2 losses by Texas to the same team, a 3-loss team, we lost to a 2-loss team and the number 1 team and the unanimous number 1 team. So comparing losses, I think our losses are better.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think we should get 5. But here's the thing, man. Like, if we can get screwed over, we're gonna get screwed over. So that's it. At the end of the day. So if we can not get 5, then we won't get it. I mean, I've seen brackets where they have Ohio State at 5 above us. I mean, what kind of moronic stuff is that? But anyway, so one thing I hate about this show is that it's so drawn out. I mean, they just talk and talk and talk. It's like, release the numbers. They'll release the top 4, talk about it for 2 hours, and then we'll see the rest. And it's like, just tell us what it is, honestly. We don't want to listen to you guys talk. We don't care what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, Alyssa. I mean, we definitely have so much going for us. Listen, you talk about knowing how to handle yourself in the moment. Like, you knew you were down 28-10. You answered. You came back. You made it close. You lost it again, and then you came back again. I mean, yes, they definitely showed they do have play calling enough and the skill sets from these players to be one of the better teams in the country. Like, yeah, I mean, you win that game yesterday. Ultimately we're number 1. Like, that's the truth, because Tyler Warren's one of the best tight ends in the country. You know, the combination of Singleton and Allen. I mean, it's unprecedented how they are just not known as the best duo in, running back history. They are just doing everything they can to keep this team in games, to just make things happen. And again, you're talking about great playmakers. I very much am impressed with how this team responded with all of that diversity last night. So yeah, it's definitely a heartbreaker of a loss, but truly anyone could have lost that game. Like, Tennessee could have lost that game, Texas, and either Boise State. I mean, you're looking at so many different options for us to go out there and prove that we, can big something huge. I mean, I'm very much impressed with their ability to stay in the game and just show that they want to be there. So, yeah, there's no questioning Penn State's character. Well, they're filing in Clemson, so they got to be getting close.
Abdul Carter's off the charts. I rewatched so much, and that dude is going to be a stud. Yeah.
Don't I wish that too?
I mean, at the end of the day,
speaking of Steelers, you see that George Pickens is inactive?
No.
The best wide receiver for the Steelers, and he's going to be inactive today. It's interesting, he was running his mouth all week, and he had he had undisclosed it.
I said it before, and I say it again. Like, when it comes to the Steelers, like, I really have to have the patience to talk about them. because they are not the team that I grew up with. That's for sure. Hamstring. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
if Penn State actually performed like they should, then maybe I'd have more patience for it. But but you
well,
got
I mean,
Steelers
listen,
and Penn State on.
I understand they put up 44 points against the Cincinnati Bengals. Like, you had to win that shootout, and George was a part of that. So there was a lot of good points, and Russell Wilson had like a 10-year resurgent. Like, he looked like he was in his 20s again in that game. And dude, that's the best positive I could pretty much get for that. So as far as the Steelers go, I know we're waiting for this to happen, but it's all about these players going to the next level too. So it's like, I would very much love an Abdul Carter for the Steelers. So, but he'll be gone by the top 10 or 11 pick, easily. So
I forgot that they played today, to be honest.
Oh, the insight about it. We're getting everybody's opinion. Let's get the guy on the street, for crying out loud.
Yeah. They took every female at ESPN and just sent them out to each team. I just want to say this real quick as someone who, studied media, communications major at Penn State. Melanie Collins, Lisa Salters were the same major as me at Penn State.
Oh.
I was a comm major and a kines minor, so I had a lot of like girls that were going to be reporters. And to be, most of them were pretty. And then in kinesiology, it was like all athletes pretty much, and they were pretty too. So I'll say this about like female reporters, man. Like, it's not all about, obviously it's not all about looks. Like, what they do is hard, and I feel like a lot of people think like, oh, she's just on there because she's pretty, and it's like, you have no idea how hard it is to do what they're doing right now. To talk live on TV, it's very hard. They're very good at what they do, and this is all reporters in general. But I just pointed out the girls because there was 3 of them just now.
Right.
It's very hard to do that. And like,
I got a big screen
sideline
out there.
reporting is tough. But yeah, man, it's that doing that is not easy. They make it look easy. That's why they're at ESPN. So yeah. So yeah, I mean, they have everyone out there.
Yeah. But you think about it from the perspective, like, it's all about, as a fan, I feel like with you think about like what sports have been the last 10, 15 years, not to go on a rant or anything, but I feel like we do care more about what is going off of the field and actually off of the stats than we do about, like, we're more concerned about, like, why their wives didn't cook their particular recipe that night before a game. Like, I just feel like we're looking at like what's happened at the hotel, what's happened, in this random club. Like, we're trying to be like a little TMZ-ish, and it's just like, I'm not really interested in knowing what the off-screen stuff is. Now, listen, again, with my movie things, it's like, do you think every actor is a saint? Like, all those big name actors, like, no, they've got their things that they do off screen, but they don't get it publicized, or they pay off people to not let them know what's really like. I mean, for the long stretch of things, it's just like, I feel like we are to some degree imperfect, and we need to like stop trying to find ways to like moralize or like downgrade these superstars just because we find out this or that. And it's just like, I'm not interested in that stuff. Like, when I'm a fan, I just want you to show me the stats on the screen. I want you to talk about what could be better about the game, what could improve, or what is great about it. Like, why they were the better team, like blah, blah. Like, just, just focus on that for me personally. That's where I'm at with it. So it just seems like when they constantly gear towards the sideline reporter and they bring up the fact that it's like, oh, I just spoke to one of the coaches and, the morale of this team is really down right now, but we have to. No kidding. I mean,
Jared,
there's just a lot of. Yes.
Yeah. Apparently SMU is in and Alabama is out. So, that's not proven. I don't know how you can report on that before it's released, but
right. Oh boy.
No idea.
Oh.
But yeah. So I think the reason Bama is out, Saban said last week he thought Miami should be in, and Bama out, which they do listen to Saban. Yeah, like Josh Pate showed the college football committee, and he was talking about that they weren't eating appetizers. And I commented on his page, on his post, because Brett brought that up last night.
Yeah.
I said, I hope this guy isn't a comedian, to Josh Pate, because, like, we all know the committee isn't really constructed of people that we would consider football people, but, like, the fact that there's no appetizers, he said they weren't gambling. It's like, yeah, no shit, they're not gambling on games. Like, I don't know, I just thought it was dumb, but he commented back and said, Mark, there's no way you could cover me. What did he say? He said, you could never guard me in man coverage, Mark. And I said, I don't know, what level did you play at? And someone else commented, JV. I don't know if he must have played football, but, I mean, I think he understands my sarcasm, which I appreciate.
Right.
But he said I couldn't cover him in man coverage. So,
I mean, let's face it. I mean, we should be like, how it should work is, I feel like as athletes and the sport itself, it's like, give me 55% in that regard of like, if you have to dice it up like in sections, like it's three big ones, okay? It's the sport itself, show business, and business. Like there's a difference between business and show business. So it's like, give me 55% of the sport itself, give me 15% of show business, and then what would that make it, like 25-30% left for the actual business side of everything. Like there's all this thing that are rolled up into this whole thing that we love watching. So yeah, it's tough to like, navigate these things because again, it's like what matters more? Like, because it's like they're trying so hard to like give it more of a fluff or give it like razzle dazzle. And it's just like, nah, the sport itself does that. Please stop trying to make things that are not imperfect perfect. Like, just let us have this and just focus on that primarily. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I just want to say this about, well, first of all, Franklin's press conference last night was joined by Ellis and Drew Aller. Same BS answers from him as always. Just talked out of his ass pretty much. And
Oregon is number one.
I don't mean to be that pessimistic, but it's true. He was same BS.
Yeah,
man. Said
I get
nothing.
it.
Didn't really take responsibility for anything. Said they can't commit these. Like, we're never going to win the big game, man. Nothing's going to change. Yep. And it was just proven last night that
Georgia too.
Change. Nothing is going to change.
Yep.
Yeah, Pate has some interesting takes, but he loves to stir the pot. That's right, illicit. But yeah, man, the press conference last night, same thing. I mean, it just was the same song and dance, which I thought he would do, and it's just sad, man, because it's never going to change. It doesn't matter. We have Tyler Warren, Abdul Carter, two generational talents, and we lose to Oregon. It's like, it's never going to change, man. It's like, never going to change. Never. But I have the.
They're going to drag the third spot out because who's got the third spot? This is really what it's all about. It really is, because whoever gets this spot really does kind of map out the rest of the top 10 at least. I mean,
absolutely dominating the competition. Sun Devils of Arizona State. Oregon.
All right, here we go.
Boise got 3. That's
Boise got 3. Oh,
makes sense.
Okay. They had him 4th for the longest time.
Yeah, you
oh
guys are
my
gonna get freaking
goodness!
smoked by every team that you play. Sit down. Like, dude, they're screwed. That's one thing about this playoff structure, man. You got teams like that, like they're gonna get smoked.
Yep. So
Bro,
the winner of them,
wait till they play like Oregon or something. They're done.
right? Because the winner of them plays Georgia, even if they make it all the way to the semifinals. Oh, Arizona State, Clemson. Arizona State, Clemson. Arizona State. God dang, I knew it.
So we find out now.
You knew you were
Franklin
getting one of
doing?
those
Why can't
spots,
he
you
win big
dinguses.
games? Francis asked. He's not a game day coach. That's it.
No, that's
why
right.
Can't he win big games? He's not a game day coach, and
all right, are we fifth? Are we fifth, bud? Are we fifth?
He's not a head coach. He's a CEO, pretty much. Yeah, costs. It's Oregon, Georgia, Boise State, Arizona State, top 4.
And
now it's 5. Shut up, Greg Mack.
come on.
Of course you do, Reese Davis.
Come on. If they go to commercial or something, I'm going to be so ticked.
Oh, they did 12 first. I was like, Clemson's 5?
I would say, what? God dang.
Why
you.
Why wouldn't you do 5 first? What is
Why
this?
are you doing 5 last? Oh, you jerks.
I mean, I think they always do that. They do the 5 they do the 5 conference champions, and then
yeah. Wait.
But Clemson got in. That's cool.
Wait, does that mean then SMU is out? How could they beat SMU in the?
It's going to be between SMU and Bama.
I was saying, but wait, I was saying Clemson beat them. How could they not be in this? Would they be ahead of them? Like that makes no sense. That wouldn't Clemson be ahead of SMU though? Like that if they beat them in
SMU technically SMU is like better because
they
were. Oh my God, Texas got 5.
I knew it. I knew it. I told you. I told you they were going to do that. Dang it. I knew it. Wow.
That doesn't make sense, but it doesn't make sense.
Yep. SEC favoritism.
I mean, Texas, man, like, we're better than them, I think. Yeah, man, like I said, like, we play a decent team, we're cooked. Like, we're not gonna win, so we're cooked. Like, we're not gonna win.
Heck, I don't even know if we are ahead of Notre Dame now. I mean, wow, they got so lucky. Playing Clemson and Arizona State.
We're going to run into Bama.
So we're 6th.
Yeah, we're cooked, man.
Well, if we win our first game, I mean, we play Boise State. I mean,
the first team we play is Bama. And the other reason we would maybe beat Bama is because they're just not.
Maybe they play Indiana.
So.
Maybe they play Indiana.
It's going to go. Let me think here.
I don't think they would put Bama over Indiana.
It's going to be Notre Dame 7.
Yeah.
It's going to be Notre Dame,
right.
followed by Ohio State,
Tennessee?
Tennessee, Indiana,
okay.
and then probably Bama and someone else.
Yep, you're right on Notre Dame.
Man, that's crazy. We didn't get 5. Like that's insane.
I said it. I said there was going to be some way for the SEC or the committee to find a way to put us below where we thought we would be.
What is Notre Dame wearing?
White jumpsuits? I don't know.
Like what?
That should go to. Who knows? Those independent schools, man, you can't figure them out. It's either Ohio. It's got to be Ohio State. It's got to be. They're not choosing. Yep. I said they're not choosing Tennessee as a home game. That's not going to bring anybody in.
Oh, they
look at that. Texas, a big crowd. Mm-hmm.
Dude, Oregon is gonna kill Ohio State if they play them again.
Well, again, dude, they remember how bad they lost that game, so it's a neutral territory now. Just saying, we know what happens when Ohio State gets into the playoffs. It could still be Indiana. I'm not. Listen, I think that it's either SMU or Indiana. I don't know if they would put us against Bama. Wait, are they leaving out Indiana or no? Wait, it's SMU or Indiana because there's they may be leaving out Bama. You're right. I don't see how they get Bama in there.
Maybe we get Indiana.
That's what I'm thinking. I think we're going to get Indiana, which would be nuts.
Again, man, like we should beat Indiana. We should beat Boise. It's like an easy path. But as soon as we see a good team, like we're done. Dude, if we
either way, dude, if we get through this, we're either going to play. We're going to play Georgia. We're going to play Georgia if we get to the semifinals. Like that would be wow. Playing Georgia just to get to the national championship. Jeez.
Yeah, that makes no sense if we're not at 5, but whatever. There's no reason for us to not be at 5.
Yep.
That's crazy.
That is.
A 3-loss team, you lost 2
Well, I
twice.
guess they thought. Well, I guess they again, you talk about Big Ten or SEC. I guess they thought Georgia was the more impressive team. We play SMU. Oh my gosh.
We're gonna get Alabama.
How can they put Alabama in? How can they do that?
Yeah, we're going to get, well, so based off what Brett said, we're going to get SMU. But yeah, Alabama should not be in, man. I know they beat the SEC champions. That's the only thing they got going for them.
Yeah.
If we win out, we're looking at Georgia. And again,
yeah,
like, there's no way in hell that we're beating them.
That's nuts, though. I just like even if you get through whatever it would be, yeah, the fact that they go all the way there to Georgia. Dang.
Yeah, I agree with you, Illicit, because we would end up playing Oregon.
No kidding, they're dragging this out. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. SMU. Wow.
All right, man. We got SMU, Boise State. We could meet Georgia.
Playing a bunch of horses.
I'm gonna say this. It's probably gonna be. We'll see. Austin, Georgia in the Final Four. Oregon and Texas. So it could really come down to us and Oregon again, man.
Well, it could, dear dude. Listen, Ohio State. You can say what you want about them, but I'm going to wait for that one. That's the most important game outside of whatever we're doing. So I don't know. I got a feeling that Ohio State. Yeah, that could be a upset right there. They could play Texas in the Final Four. It's possible. I mean, listen, if we could take them that close to a game, I mean.
Yeah, I want to say this real quick, Jared. We came in at number 4, right?
Yes.
Which means this is the first year we made the top 4, which is good. That's an accomplishment right there.
Yeah.
Good on James Franklin. Good on Penn State. We came in at 4. Oregon 1, Georgia 2, Texas 3, us 4. We would have played Texas, or we would have played Oregon in the first round in the Final Four. So we come in at 4, and again, that's good job on that, Penn State. You did good. Good for you guys. I'm happy about that. But yeah, Illicit. All right, so this is why we're on this show, for a reaction.
Yes.
So that's why Jared's on here. That's why Illicit's on here. That's why I'm on here. Kirk Street may as well be talking into the wind. Okay, so let me say this. The whole scheduling thing is dumb because Bama didn't lose their non-conference. Yeah, this is actually better than 5. Yeah, it kind of is, man.
From that setup, you're not wrong, actually. Texas has a good road. We have a good road. I mean,
but here's the thing, man. Like, at the end of the day, we have 2 opponents who we should beat, right?
Yeah.
But again, what happens when we play possibly a better opponent like Georgia, or you know what I mean? So it's like it's just the same BS over and over again.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want an easy schedule, but like there is no redemption in beating SMU and Boise State and then losing in the top 4. There's no redemption, man. It's the same story every single year. So,
well, I mean, we're extending our season. Like, we're getting a lot more, games to play. So we're getting as much exposure as possible. Now, yes, that is true.
I agree, Illicit. I think we can beat Georgia, sure. But it's because they're not, I don't know.
I mean, who knows if Carson Beck will be healthy enough to play in that game? Like, I don't know if like he's
what David
hurt.
said, yeah. So.
I don't know. I mean, because again, you're talking about some of the best teams in the country, and no one put SMU in that category like at the beginning of the season. I don't think anyone had Boise State on that list at the beginning of the season. So yeah, we are playing two teams that no one thought was going to be in that category, but they played their season. They won their game, so they've earned the right to be included. So I get what you're saying, dude, because again, it's all about being battle tested. And yeah, these are going to be games you have to win. I mean, can you win against SMU? Can you blow them out? I mean, I'd like to think that Penn State has a 35-10 kind of score coming their way with SMU. Yeah. So then you go on against Boise State, and that's neutral. And you have a Heisman candidate in Ashton, and or Alshon. How do you say his gosh darn name? I'm never going to remember this kid's name.
Who? Ashton Genty, yeah.
Ashton, yes, thank you. Like, you have a Heisman candidate like him you're playing against. Like, can you stop him? Like, that's the thing. You play one big important player, so then you move on to Georgia. And again, if Georgia is banged up still, I mean, do you take advantage of that defensively? I mean, you have a shot. So there's no telling how this is going to play out. But, I mean, it's looking like this is a good chance for Penn State to actually get all the way to the national championship. Let's put it this way. If Penn State loses, I mean, if they do what they're doing, if they're going to win these first two games, SMU beat Boise State and get to Georgia, if they lose to Georgia embarrassingly, despite not having Carson Beck or whatever, if they do that, I will say you are absolutely right about that, dude. The season would be a complete wash and it would be a total letdown. But if they go and play close, lose in overtime to a team like Georgia, who is considered one of the best teams in the country, dude, I think that I would have a lot of respect for what this team put themselves through. And again, I would love nothing more than to say we could get all the way to the now. If we get to the national championship and lose closely, I will have absolutely said this was a great season. Because again, we got all the way to the biggest stage. I mean, that's the thing. That's what it is in the NFL. Like, everyone wants to get to the Super Bowl. If you get to the Super Bowl and lose, I'm not ashamed of you. You got all the way, like you did. Like you just because there has to be a winner and a loser, but you got to the big show. So for me, if we're talking about a great success story this season for us, if you get to the national championship,
yeah,
then I think this was a successful season.
100%. Yeah, if you get there, regardless of who you play, that's an accomplishment right there, and that's good for recruiting. Getting to the top four is good for recruiting. Yeah. So, great points here by Illicit and Koss, for sure, and same with David. Yeah, so Texas hasn't played in cold. We have a good shot at playing Notre Dame due to the injury for Georgia. I think Notre Dame matches well with Georgia in the sugar. And I'll be honest with you, Carson Beck, I don't know if he's coming back, man. I mean, his arm was limp. And when you do that, man, like that's I'm not a doctor. I was a kines minor, so I know some anatomy and stuff. When you when your arm is limp like that, that's some nerve damage. Same thing that happened to Colt McCoy in the national title game against Alabama. I don't know if he's coming back this year. High throwing elbow. His throwing elbow.
Okay.
So I don't know if he's coming back, man, to be honest with you.
Yeah, for all we know, Notre Dame, like I saw that we would match up against Notre Dame. That would be interesting to see if we face Notre Dame in the Final Four.
And I do think, like many teams in this playoff, they are, what's the word? Not inexperienced in the sense that they haven't played anybody. They haven't been exposed yet. Yeah, and then they could be on their third string quarterback right now, Georgia. I mean, that kid got freaking rocked yesterday. Which that used to be football, but it's not anymore.
No.
I've taken some hits like that. I got hit when I was playing receiver. I got hit so hard one time my face mask was on the side of my head.
Hey.
Still caught the ball though. You see that he took that shot at the end of the game. Yeah. Yeah, that shot took his face when his helmet flew off. After all the points we put up last night, we clean up some stuff. We'll feel pretty good. Yeah, that's the thing, man. If we play
Yeah,
Oregon
man.
and Ohio State next, again, either or, I think we play better. We definitely showed a lot last night, like a lot of heart. We're definitely one of the better teams in the country, if we play like we should. Again, I said this at the beginning of the year. I think we're the most talented team in the country. I think we're one of the best in the country. Talent-wise, if we play well and we played like we did last night without the mistakes, I mean, the only other team in the country that is better than us, knock on wood, I mean, is Oregon. That's it, man. And maybe Ohio State. I think we can beat everybody pretty much but Ohio State and Oregon.
But it's fascinating.
Now, a Georgia team with a starting quarterback, I don't know either, but yeah. I mean, I agree with you guys that I think, this is playing out pretty well for us. So, but Alabama didn't get in, man. That's a pretty big storyline. Rightfully so, they should not get in.
No, we said it the whole time. There's no way Alabama gets in.
We're playing the Eric Dickerson death penalty SMU team. Which is interesting.
I mean, look, it's interesting how you see like the last. I'm just saying, look at how that whole Final Four could shape up. I mean, Texas, Ohio State, or Oregon, us, or Notre Dame and Georgia. Like, I'm just saying, like, for us as Penn State fans, the things that we want to challenge ourselves with, if we overcome a team like Notre Dame or Georgia, whatever, in the Final Four, we got to get there first. I'm not trying to get ahead of myself. But, like, if we get all the way that way and we go Georgia or Notre Dame, we beat them. Who are your options? Ohio State, who we've already played, and we know that what we have to do to win. Oregon, same thing. Texas is the only, like, question. And I'm telling you right now, that would be pretty interesting to see a Texas and Penn State final national championship. I don't think anyone would have had any bracket that would have had that set up at all. So I think you're right. We definitely match up very well against everybody. It's just play calling and execution with Aller. Like, those two things, dude, it's got to happen. Like, you cannot make any mistakes like that. Maybe in the first round you get away with it, but I'm saying when you get to the big stuff, you cannot have anything go wrong. You can't be doing trick plays. If you can't execute them, you cannot be giving us anything that will potentially doom us. Like, you just got to go out there and give us the best version of yourselves in every game. So it's pretty straightforward. I mean, that's for everybody. It's not just us, but we seem to always forget that when it matters.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, okay, so all we can do is go off our bracket right now, right?
Yes.
So, Texas is going to beat Clemson. Probably be a fairly close game.
It'll be a good game.
James Franklin still has a chance this year to erase the big game narrative. He does.
He does.
We got to beat SMU. We got to beat Boise. Notre Dame could beat Georgia. So if we get into the national title, man, it's going to be Texas, Oregon, or Ohio State in the national title. Tennessee could beat Ohio State. I'm confident that they can do that.
Yeah.
But looking at our side of things, man, we're the best team in that whole bracket with Carson Beck hurt. So, and that's an interesting part too, man, is he still put Georgia at 2, even though Carson Beck could be hurt. I mean, Jordan Travis last year.
That's a good point. You're right.
Jordan Travis last year, they kept them out undefeated because he got hurt, Florida State. So that's interesting too that they put them at 2. They could have put them at 4. They could have put them at 12 with an injury. I mean, honestly, so.
But they have the more impressive conference, dude. That's just how you have to look at it, because the committee has said it. It's SEC, Big Ten, and whoever else they want to do afterwards. It's like between us and SEC all the time. Yeah, they're constantly showing that in the favoritism. We lost that 5 spot because they wanted to Texas over us because they think Texas is better than us. So would I love nothing more than for that to be the case where it's like we get to the championship and it is an SEC versus Big Ten team and Penn State is victorious. My friend, we're talking about every analyst basically going, well, look at the stretch. You had Texas taking on Ohio State or Oregon, Ohio State or Oregon, and we played Notre Dame or Georgia. Imagine that. Both semifinals, SEC and Big Ten. And then we have both teams lose. I'm just saying, no, that's another hypothetical. Say we have both Big Ten teams win. We have two Big Ten teams in the national championship. What would that prove of who's the better conference? Exactly.
Yeah, just looking at some of the messages I'm getting, I mean, oh, Joe's at the Dolphins game.
Okay.
He said he can't come on because he's at the Dolphins game.
Oh,
I'll send him a picture of the bracket in case he doesn't have it. But Jared, yeah, man, I don't know. I'm still kind of defeated from last night. That would have been such a statement win. But here's the thing: if we're the number one seed, who are we looking at? We're looking at Tennessee or Ohio State.
yeah,
Like,
right
that's
off the
not
bat.
good.
I mean, dude, yeah, you could have been knocked off pretty
Even
easily.
if we beat
so.
Oregon last night, man, like I said, I don't think it got to translate at all. So just because we would have won last night, I think we could still lose to Tennessee or Ohio State. So, but, you know, man, at the end of the day, it's a home game at home. Home game at home. It's a home game,
12 o'clock.
Beaver Stadium. SMU, an inferior opponent, playing Boise State, in my opinion, also an inferior opponent.
Yeah.
And then we're looking at Notre Dame or Georgia, most likely. Indiana could beat Notre Dame.
Mm. Indiana could. You're right, dude. I mean, how weird would that be if Indiana were to somehow just run the table and we face them in the semifinals? What if Oregon? Yeah, that would be so crazy. Because again, imagine that you then have three teams in the Big Ten in the semifinals. That would be ridiculous. So, I mean, I'm just saying, it seems like they have a better.
Played some college ball, or almost played some college ball. It looks like.
Oh wow! Holy cow!
He was recruited heavily. That's cool, illicit.
Wow.
518 yards total offense on the number one team in the country. Our O-line did great last night. Yeah, man. Yeah,
they did phenomenal last night. Man, I could not believe the job they did. They were ready for Oregon's defense. I was so impressed.
Literally everything that we said in the pregame, like I said, all they had to do was play the passing game, and it didn't seem like they did. I mean, listen, all you got to do is play some prevent defense against them. That's it. And they didn't. Our D-line was playing good enough that we could have played prevent the whole game, and I don't think Dylan Gabriel has a shot. Let him run the ball. Dink and dunk the ball down the field. Let him run the ball. Let him scramble. Let him kick field goals. That's what they had to do. And, you know, man, maybe if they play him again, they do that. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's wishful thinking. But, Singlet. You meant Singleton.
I think he meant Singleton. The minute I saw that, I'm like, I think he meant Singleton.
Run game looked good. O-line looked good.
Oh.
It just came down to the Oregon passing game. That's it. Just seen it's the afternoon game, Saturday the 21st. Nice. Okay.
I will be working. I have to tape the dang game.
Wanted whiteout. Be interesting for the weather, man. We got a Southern Methodist team coming to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we got a Southern team coming up north.
Southern Methodist, they're what? They're Texas.
Texas, yeah. I think they're around Houston. Yeah. Around Houston.
OSU Tennessee night game. I think the 5 seed game is a night game, yeah.
For
Some of the games are on a Friday. I wonder what game is on a Friday.
That was the Texas and Clemson. I think I saw that was 4:00.
On a Friday?
No, for Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, the Friday night game is going to be Indiana Notre Dame.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
we're the 12:00
Tennessee,
game.
Ohio State at night. We're at like midday.
Yeah, and then it's going to be Tennessee or Texas and Clemson at the 4:00. So.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, it's a great lineup. I mean, it could have been us at 4 and the other one. I mean, didn't matter. So I think that we're going to start this day off really well. Like, again, SMU, I have nothing. I have nothing on SMU. Like, I know that they are a school that got in. Like, I know they're a football team. That is it. I don't know I don't know the quarterback. I don't know running backs. I don't know wide receivers. I don't know anything about their defense. Nothing. Like, do you know anything about SMU?
Not much. They got a pretty good mobile quarterback.
Okay.
They went toe to toe with Clemson last night. All right, so all right. Well, why doesn't it tell us the teams that are playing? Friday is someone.
It's going to be Indiana and Notre Dame. I did see that on the screen up here on ESPN. I did see that.
All right,
yeah, the Friday night game is going to be Indiana and Notre Dame. Saturday 12 is going to be us and SMU. Then 4:00 is going to be the Clemson Texas game, and 8:00 is going to be Tennessee and Ohio State.
Okay. So we're on TNT TBS. No, I think I guess. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. That is so weird.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way the playoff is going to be. I always said that they should do that with the NFL, where instead of having 2 games on, if that, on your local networks, put every NFL game on a different channel. Put one on TBS, put one on Fox, put one on CBS. Every channel that you can get, if you have like a decent cable package, put every game that's available to watch nationally. I mean, that makes way more sense than having 2 games, because it's the NFL. You can only have 2 games on because it's so fancy that you have to get Red Zone or Sunday NFL Ticket just to watch every team. Like, it's stupid.
Yeah.
But we were ranked above Ohio State. Thank God. We got this dude on the screen that is in the committee. God knows what he knows about football. Yeah, it makes sense for views. So we'll be on Max app maybe.
I think I saw we have an opportunity to be on HBO Max. Yeah.
Like the game?
Yeah. I think they have a contract. I think they have a chance to showcase the games.
They may as well have Matthew McConaughey on there picking games.
Man,
they always show him on the screen at those games.
Every freaking time.
Yeah, it's like,
Touchdown,
what does this guy have to do? I mean, what does he have to do with anything on the field besides the fact that he's a huge fan? Like, wow, you're a football fan, Matthew McConaughey. That's interesting.
Dude,
just like everyone else.
This is listen, I'm not knocking the guy. Like, I like his work. I think he has done some amazing work as an actor. I like a lot of his movies, but a lot of people talk about that movie he won the Oscar for, that Dallas Buyers Club. It's huge drama. It's like he lost 60. Like, he lost 60 pounds for the part. He looked like the most anorexic thing I've ever seen in my life. And again, when you go that far with your roles, they're going to give you something for it. And yeah, he has been deserving of an Oscar. I mean, but you look at certain actors and it's like, you hear his accent, dude. It's like, you can't get that out of your head. Like, no matter what part you put the guy in, I'm always going to hear that accent in that sense. Like, you can't get rid of it. So it's like Matthew McConaughey will always play that Southern guy. He'll be a Southern lawyer. He'll be a Southern rodeo clown. He'll be a Southern doctor. Like, it's just, you can't get rid of it. I as much as you want to try to, but that's the thing. So you won an Oscar. You're like one of the most famous alumni, and it's like, well, what have you done? Like, ever since he won for that Oscar, I think I've seen him in like 2-3 projects tops. So it's like now his whole devotion is just being in the state of Texas, just being on the sideline for Texas's games. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, to you guys listening, we are on Rumble too. And as I said, we're doing a giveaway. It's gonna be a pretty the giveaway will be it'll be worth some money in the sense that, we're gonna be giving you some good stuff. So being that we're on Rumble, you guys commenting, you can tip us. So anybody who tips on Rumble, you'll get a double entry into the giveaway. And on top of that, if you're not following us on Rumble, please do. Just give us a follow. You can also watch us live on there. We're live on there. We're live on YouTube. I forgot to put up Instagram, but I started doing live on Instagram too. But yeah, if you wanna, you could tip us on Rumble. You put up a comment too. We'll read your comment. But yeah, it'll give you a double entry into the giveaway. So I'll keep track of that. But yeah, please support us on Rumble. Like I said, that's more free speech. YouTube, and that's kind of the way things are going right now. Is like everyone's kind of, well, not everyone, but a lot of people are kind of migrating over to Rumble because of that. And that's something that eventually I'd like to be full-time on Rumble. But yeah, just to let you guys know, literally just search Mark Lesko Podcast on Rumble, and we got a clips page over there. We got a regular page, Mark Lesko Podcast, and then I have 36 followers on there compared to the 500 I have over here. So if you don't have Rumble, get it, follow us, and like I said, if you comment, tip us, then you'll get a double entry into the giveaway. But pretty much what it's going to come down to, and I'm probably going to do the giveaway in like January or something, after the football season is done, the college football season. So that's when I'm probably going to do it. So just to give more people more opportunity to come on here and comment and stuff like that. But yeah, Brett said his comments aren't showing. He said he's commented like 5 times, but we can't see him.
I didn't see him either.
That doesn't make any sense, man.
Huh.
Like, Brett's commenting and it's not popping up. Like, what? That's so weird, man. Why? Does YouTube hate Brett or what?
I mean,
goodness gracious. But yeah, so yeah, the NBA on TNT is under the Bleacher Report Sports. UGA got a nice bracket. Yeah, yeah. UGA got a pretty nice bracket. Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I think ours is nicer.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Texas, yeah, free Brett. That's right. The bracket with who was okay, so it's I'm just gonna pull it up here.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're comparing easiest brackets,
you're talking about 2 teams that have not really gotten into this conversation between SMU and Boise State, and then you have a potential facing a independent that lost to Northern Illinois or a Georgia team that doesn't have a quarterback that's healthy. I'd like to think we're leading that particular race. Just
hashtag free Brett, tweet it out. We basically got the 5 seed. Yeah. They released the lines and times too. Okay. Colby, where is that? So I can pull it up for everyone. All right, here is the bracket. All right. Everyone. All right. So we got our bracket, probably the easiest. All right. Second easiest is probably Texas, if we're talking about the best teams. the 1 seed's the hardest, man. Like, that's insane.
That is.
And then Georgia.
2.
That's interesting.
That is so interesting.
Oh, FanDuel has them. Okay. Thanks, Colby. Yeah, FanDuel is where I got the odds for the rankings. Okay. Illicit. Nice. So, yeah. I don't know. You guys keep commenting. I mean, again, it's blowing up on here. You guys keep commenting. Nice. Let us know your thoughts, what you think is going to happen, what you think Penn State's going to do. I'll keep the bracket pulled up so you can see it. But, yeah, just give us your thoughts, guys. Let us know what you think about it. What are we looking at here? You know?
I mean,
what are we looking at here?
So the first game is going to be Indiana, Notre Dame. Sounds like a game that should be won by Notre Dame, but
the best seeding possible, which I agree with you, Omid, 100%. Like,
yeah,
like we should be happy about that. I mean, I'm still like, not. I'm still just. I'm being a kind of a downer right now. I really am, but I'm just still disappointed about last night. But yeah, man, we move on. So you got to move on.
Yep.
Best seeding possible, Omid, 100%, Omid. Tennessee plays at night in Ohio. Going to be the best first round game. Yeah, absolutely, man. And
yeah,
again, these Southern schools. Okay, that's another thing about this college football playoff. We're in the Midwest, right? Man, when it's 40 degrees, I'm wearing shorts, okay? These Southern schools, they don't know what winter is, okay?
No,
the West Coast, okay? West Coast came to Big Ten. Oregon won the Big Ten title. Good for them.
Mm-hmm.
They get a lot of credit. But when these Southern schools and these West Coast teams continue to have to play in the snow, the cold, you know how cold it is, man? 27 degrees, 20 degrees, 10 degrees, minus wind chill.
That's not cold.
And you're coming up here
That's
from
not
Georgia.
even cold.
Yeah, and you're coming up here from like Tennessee, where winter to you is like 40 degrees. I mean, they have another thing coming, man. They have another thing coming. Honestly, how do you adjust to that? And here's another aspect of it. You could get sick. You know? So a lot of factors here. But yeah, keep your comments coming, guys.
Not to go off script here, but Mark, do you remember a guy by the name of Cody Gates?
I don't think so.
Okay. I used to go to school with a guy when we picked him up from school. Like, again, give me an example of what Pennsylvania cold is. Like, when I was in middle school, when we had the bus ride and everything, there was a kid named Cody Gates who would pick up at his stop. Now, where I lived, it was, you know, you did a lot of windy turns, like I have a back road kind of setup. And the bus would go and pick this guy up. And, you know, you've been watching, like, this stop had about 5 or 6 kids on it. Cody Gates, every single day of his life, I swear he had another outfit to wear, was just shorts that went above the knees, just above the knees, and a tank top every single day. One time we had to go to school where it was like a wind chill factor of like -2, and the whole thing felt like it was -10. And I'm out there and we pick him up, and that kid is, surely enough, in shorts and the freaking tank top, just stand there waiting, and he's just like nothing. Like, and he gets on this bus, I'm just like, yeah. So you want a good example of how some of these kids handle their toughness? It's like, it's crazy how you have to really prepare yourself for some cold. Now, we going to have that kind of cold? Of course not. But that's how they'll feel. Like, if they're in 30, 40 degree weather, they'll think, oh my gosh, it must be like, where are we, Antarctica? Like, I mean, I'm saying it amazes me how some people think that 30, 40 degrees is like the bottom of the iceberg. Like, it's not. It's
yeah, man. Like, if it's like I've worn shorts in 34 degree weather. Pretty much once it gets like into the 20s is when I'm really like, I'm not wearing shorts anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, the cold never bothered me. I mean, like, I do bodybuilding. I lift, you know, a lot. I haven't recently because I was sick, but I'll leave the gym in shorts, and I usually have a sweatshirt on at least, a jacket, but I'm wearing shorts, man, and it's freezing cold. I mean, you get used to it. You get used to it, man. And here's another aspect too. Like, okay, so let's say Florida is like a number 1 seed. All right, Florida State, whatever. In the future, Miami. And you're a Midwest team, Michigan. You got 5 foot of snow on the ground, and you're going down to Florida in that humidity. That's an adjustment right there.
Yeah.
But going from like East Coast to West Coast is so nice. There's no humidity.
Right.
And like where I've been in the West Coast, there's no humidity.
Yeah.
Particularly San Diego. I have some family from there, and overall, both ways, man, it's an adjustment. It is an adjustment. Like Penn State practicing outside Haluba Hall, they're going down to, let's say they go down to like Alabama, where it's like hot. That's an adjustment too. So this playoff gives everyone an opportunity. It gives everyone a shot. It mixes things up totally. The only thing I disagree with is like, I don't know if you can't see my mouse. I don't know why you can't see my mouse. Can you see my mouse? Yes. Like,
yeah.
This 1 seed, man, they should be getting like 5 and 12. You know what I mean? Or 6 and 11. Like, they shouldn't be playing. I understand it's 8 and 9, but those are good teams right there. And I think they're always going to be good teams. 8 and 9. So that's a flaw for sure. This 1 seed getting that. And in a way, it should almost be like the NFL, where one plays the lowest winner. Like they play if 10 beats 7, they should play 10, or you know what I mean. So I guess technically they are playing the lowest winner, because between these two, that's as kind of low as you can go, in the sense that like 10's probably not going to beat 7, or 11's not going to beat 6, or 12's not going to beat 5. So you're playing 8 or 9 because they're in the middle. But I still think that's a bit of a flaw with that system, where I think part of it should be that you play the worst team. The lowest seeded, highest seeded, which way you want to put it. All right, to be honest, from watching a lot of all 22 film, Notre Dame-Indiana matchup decent, but I give Notre Dame the edge. OSU should beat Tennessee. Texas-Clemson will be interesting. Lead up, but I think Texas rolls. SMU, PSU wins. Signing off, guys. Thanks, David. Have a blessed day. We are out. We are, and here we go. Going to wave the terrible towel. All right, David. Yeah, thank you, Steelers fans, for coming on too, man. I've been keeping up with that. That's my fault. I've just been sick, and Penn State's been keeping me plenty busy. Maybe it'll be a snow game. Yep. Yeah, Saban said about how they have cold weather in the South. What he didn't mention, and they forget, is wind chill. It's not the temp, it's the wind that kills you in a football game.
It is the wind. It is the horrible wind.
Yeah, like Christmas Eve 2022, went to the Steelers game against the Raiders. It was -20 wind chill. Freezing cold.
Oh, dude. Big Ben's last home game, it was like 10, and it was probably 0 with the wind chill.
Yeah.
Ew.
We were dressed warm. The person I was with, we were both dressed warm. I drank a lot of Fireball. That helped. And the person I was there with, like, I was showing her, I had Yingling pounders. And it was so cold that they were slushies. I was just drinking slushies the whole game. These beer cans were turning to straight slush immediately. It was that cold. It was literally like 6 degrees and then -20 wind chill. It was insane. It was insanely cold, like unbelievably cold. I'm a huge UGA fan. Hopefully we get a matchup in New Orleans. Yeah. Colby, what do you think about your QB right now? What's his deal? What do you think is going to happen with him? All right, so real quick.
Yep.
I wish they had locations on these games too. Like,
I know they showed like each one has like the Peach Bowl and the Rose, but
Like, is the Rose Bowl at the Rose Bowl? Because that's not always the case, I don't think, is it?
I think that is, though. I think it has
All
always
right.
been in the Coliseum and USC.
All right, so Fiesta, I think, is inside. Rose Bowl, if it's the Rose Bowl at the Rose Bowl, maybe I should know that, but I didn't think the Rose Bowl was always at the Rose Bowl, but if maybe it is. So Rose Bowl will be outside. I think the Peach is in like Florida. Fiesta's inside. Sugar, I think, is outside. The Cotton, I think, is outside. Orange Bowl is inside. So, yeah.
Seems like every bowl is either in Florida or California.
Yeah, Alyssa, I played in an alumni game a couple years ago, and it was November. It was like right before Thanksgiving, and it was like wet snow coming down. It was very cold, very wet. I didn't have any like cold gear on. I don't wear cold gear when I play football. I had no sleeves on. I had a hand warmer, and that was it. And I wasn't cold, but it was very cold. It was very cold out. I like Gunner. Becca's probably done for the season. Yep, he was the #1 dual threat QB a couple years ago. Okay, yeah, I mean, he just doesn't have playing experience. That's all, as far as I know. Georgia is Sugar, and yes, Rose Pasadena. Peach is Georgia. Okay.
Okay.
Peach Bowl is in Atlanta in the Benz.
Okay.
Fiesta is Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, Fiesta is inside because we played in the Fiesta Bowl against Washington when Saquon was here.
Okay.
It was a PlayStation Fiesta Bowl.
PlayStation Bowl, yes.
Sugar, New Orleans. Okay. So, regardless, it's either inside or outside, but if it's outside, it's warm. Obviously, that's always been the case. But, yeah, to go from, it's got to be a gauntlet of a schedule for everyone, man, because you're going from, like, a snow game to inside to warm weather to, so I will be in Switzerland for the Sugar Bowl for my honeymoon. I will be in cold weather for sure. Interesting, Colby. Yeah, congratulations on getting married.
Yeah, boy, congrats.
I meant SEC has the Sugar and Big Ten has the Rose guarantee. Okay.
Right. Yes.
So I just want to say this too, man. These commercials that they play on TV are such a waste of time. I think we're going to see a day, man, where they don't show commercials anymore because every time there's a commercial on when I'm watching football, I just switch the channel. I couldn't tell you what they're advertising.
Yeah.
So I think at some point viewership will be so low that they just won't do commercials anymore. They'll just play them on the side of the game, still playing, because then at least you're retaining the viewership. I think
that's why they're trying to go to streaming. I think that's why they're trying to go to Prime Video and Netflix and places like that, because it's like they don't have to worry about having advertisement because they're already like multi-billion, trillion-dollar industry, so they don't have to do that anymore. So
Melissa said if we beat SMU, expect the Peach. Natty is in the Benz too, so we could play in the Benz twice.
Wow.
The winner of SMU and Penn State will be playing in Atlanta in the Peach Bowl, they said. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Now, have they announced the other bowl games yet?
I don't think.
Yeah, you guys keep commenting. We're going to pull up your stuff. We're going to try to answer everyone. Thank you guys for commenting.
Thank you so much, guys.
I really appreciate it. Very grateful for that. Yes. Yeah. Okay, they haven't yet. Thanks, Colby. Yeah, so this is the other interesting part where they continue to talk and talk and talk.
Yes.
By the way, that dude in the purple suit, is that purple or red? Gosh darn it, what's his name?
Purple suit.
On the screen right now.
Oh, him?
Yeah.
Oh, my. Yes, that's the one guy I don't know either, dude. Darn it.
Like, he's a legend, man. He played at Ohio State. He's the man.
Yeah.
Great.
Listen, I've always heard him give props to Penn State when
the receiver, the purple suit. He's on the screen right now.
Looks more like mauve or looks like burgundy. whatever that.
Like red, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amber. Is it Amber? Gosh darn it, what's his name?
I know. They keep putting up everyone's name, but I haven't seen his name yet. Greg McElroy, Reese Davis, Booker, and that guy.
Yeah, Greg McElroy. We know him. No Booger, no Reese. Gosh darn it. Oh, Joey Galloway. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
What a legend he is.
Yeah.
He's a sleeper, man, because he's like a pretty quiet. He carries himself quietly, modestly, but dude, he was so he was so good. Ohio State. Yep. Ohio State first round pick, 95, pick 8. Played against the 94 team, Penn State. But
wow.
Yeah.
Again, I guess that's why you can give your props to Penn State, because back in that time, they were a very, very good football team.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and the Seahawks team that we beat in the Super Bowl in 2005, they had 2 Penn State receivers on that team. Joe Jaravicius and Bobby Ingram. They were both on that team.
Oh, wow. I knew Bobby was. I didn't know the other guy's name.
Yeah, Joey Galloway, man. He's like, I feel like a lot of people who watch this don't even know who he is.
Yeah.
But he was, he was legit. Booger, obviously, he was the man. Played for LSU, got drafted by the Bucks. Warren Sapp, who I'm not a big fan of. I think he's
right.
Yeah, but he talked a lot of crap about Booger when he got drafted. He's like, "You're not taking my job." Man, Warren Sapp, man, I don't understand him. He's just not. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of him.
Yeah,
he runs his mouth a lot.
They put Ole Miss behind Alabama. Yep.
All right, Jared, you have it up, right?
I do.
Yep, Bobby Ingram and Joe Jaravicius, man, they were both on that team.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is unbelievable. I mean, and of course, that was Bill Cowher's team. That was, one of the better coaches in probably the last 25, 30 years. I mean, everyone knows Bill Cowher's name. He's well respected in the NFL. I mean, he definitely had his team ready for a team like Seattle. I mean, I don't know if they thought that they were going to go all the way, but they were in the Super Bowl and they won. So,
All right, Colby. Thanks for subbing. See you in the future, man.
Yeah, bud.
Bulldog fan.
Enjoy Switzerland.
Go Dogs. This is going to be wild. I wish I could post screenshots. What do you want to post, Illicit? You could DM it to me on Instagram and I'll pull it up.
I mean, we're right now in the middle of the Steelers and Browns game right now. Browns just scored a touchdown.
Did they?
Yep, 7-3 right now, Cleveland.
Oh, I could. It's sad, but we're at home against Cleveland.
Yep.
I'm gonna pull it up. I got Red Zone pulled up too. All right, so we got a noon game, the 21st, 22nd?
21st.
21st, okay.
Mm-hmm.
We are playing at noon.
Saturday before Christmas, yes.
It has been announced. Looks like Trevor Lawrence just threw an interception. He is absolute hammered dog crap.
I thought he was out for the season with his hit from what's-his-face, the guy from the Texans.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, you're right. It must have been the backup through an interception.
Yeah, Mac Jones might be, yeah. You know anything about that?
What's up?
You know that hit that the guy hit on Trevor Lawrence, that Aziz? Oh, my gosh, dude. 3-game suspension.
Again, that
he
used
led
to be
with
football.
his hand. Yeah, I mean, he led with his hand, or head. He made his head snap back. And
some of the hits back in the day, man, they would have the National Guard coming in now. Holy crap.
yeah.
But if we win, we play December 31st at 7:30. That's cool. New Year's Eve.
Cool.
Which will be, if we win, we'll play Boise New Year's Eve at 7:30. Right? Is that right, Illicit? Is that what you're saying?
December 31st,
yeah. That's crazy.
Yes.
It looks like we're getting the Fiesta. Yes.
Okay, so
I
Arizona.
grew up hearing about the 70 Steelers. Yeah. So. All right. Well, like I said, it's going to take 3 hours for them to reveal the rest of the Bulls, which is interesting. Like to see who's first out, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like again, man, I can't believe we're not at 5. Like, but we'll take it. But shit, like how are we at 5? That doesn't make
5
any
or
sense.
6. I mean, at this point right now, with how everything else played out, I mean, if we were 5 or 6, yeah, I mean. I get it. It's all about a respect thing. And of course, the SEC, they have more respect than the Big Ten, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they're saying that if Texas were to take on Oregon or we would take on Georgia, you know, I guess we would get smashed and Texas would be able to overcome Oregon. I mean, it's kind of what I'm seeing from it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, just overall, man, it ended up pretty good for us.
Yeah.
Colorado, I heard, was going to be a cog trying to get a decent game. Yeah, see, that's the thing, too. You got these other teams like Ole Miss, Colorado, Alabama. You know, who are they going to play? Like, does Colorado play Alabama? I mean, that'd be interesting as hell.
Oh, it would be interesting as heck, dude. You're right.
So, yeah. Keep your comments coming, guys. So, Jared, knowing what we know now, we got the bracket. You can see it.
Yep.
I mean, what do you think? What do you think our chances are? And
I mean, dude, I think we got a great chance. I think that everything that is laid out for us to face SMU, a team that, you know, they have good players. Again, you name anybody from them, I couldn't tell you at all. So, I mean, I feel like we have a better chance of winning. So then you take on Boise State and you have the Heisman candidate. I mean, it's so crucial for them to have that big game. So I think that they've got that opportunity there. Go to the semifinals and, you know, we face Georgia or Notre Dame. I mean, I don't see Indiana. You know, beating Notre Dame. So I feel like Notre Dame will win this game. It's going to be between Notre Dame and Georgia. And, you know, again, it just depends on what version of Notre Dame we see. That's like that I don't know what we'll see. I know that Georgia's banged up for sure. So then you have a team like Notre Dame. That's another thing. We don't know what we're going to see from that. So, Alabama plays Illinois. Fascinating.
Really?
That's what Brad just said, the comment.
Citrus. Thanks, Brad.
Yeah, bud, thank you. Yep. I mean, again, with Ohio State, Tennessee, I think, Ohio State beats Tennessee, and then we rematch of the, Ohio State, Oregon. Clemson, they'll get beat by Texas, and they'll be the Arizona State, Texas, and Texas should get all the way to the Final Four. I mean, I'm not saying anything about Clemson or Arizona State doesn't, Oh, dude, listen, it's very possible for that to happen for sure. I mean, you're looking at the Final Four essentially just being, like I said, either Oregon or Ohio State taking on Texas, and Notre Dame or Georgia taking on Penn State. I mean, it just seems like this is a pretty straight path to the finals. I mean, the only thing that's going to trip us up is whoever we play in the Final Four.
So looking at the bracket, we beat SMU.
Yep.
Brad said we beat them by 21. We beat
Yes, we
Boise
did.
by 18. Notre Dame will be a good game against Indiana. I think Notre Dame wins. They play Georgia. Notre Dame, with a Carson Beckless team, could beat Georgia, but I think Georgia still wins, which means it's us and Georgia. Then it's Ohio State and Oregon. Oregon wins. It's Texas and Arizona State. Texas wins, so it's going to be Texas, Oregon, us and Georgia. Carson Beckless team, I think we win fairly convincingly. And then Oregon's going to beat Texas. That's a good game as well. But, yeah, man, literally right now looking at it, we're looking at being in the national title. I was hoping for Kiffin versus Bielema press conferences. Me too. Good luck to you all. You have a legit team. Some of these others eke. Brad, who's your team? Yeah. Brett said we got great matchups, so which we do, and I'm happy with it. I wish Brett could comment. I don't know why it won't let him. That makes no sense at all. So yeah. Yep. Man, my opinion, we're going to be in the national title.
I think, of course, we definitely make it to the Final Four. But again,
yeah, man, if we play Georgia with Beck, regardless, I think we can match up. After last night, I like our chance against Georgia. How does Georgia do against Oregon? I think we played the best game we could have played last night. Obviously, besides our mistakes and all that, we look big picture, we looked good, man. We looked good.
Yeah. But again, you're talking about the one thing that just got exposed was defense. You can't give up 45 points and say that you weren't exposed. I mean, I don't care what the officiating did for you. I don't care what wasn't prepared or whatnot. It's just in the end, you gave up 45 points, and you never do that. That is not what your identity is. So when we get to the Final Four, I mean, I'm curious to see if we get to the Final Four. I can't just speculate, but I'm saying if we get to the Final Four and we take on Notre Dame or Georgia, what is it going to look like when we have our defense on the field? I mean, again, Texas, you just don't know what they would look like. We know it would look like against Ohio State or Oregon. So, I mean, it's nice to have that exposure, but yeah, it's definitely a toss-up right now to when we have those games and what we look like defensively. It's a very interesting question.
CBS has their predictions up for now. Let us know what they say, Illicit. Brad's an Alabama fan. Brad said Kirby with 21 days, 5-star QB. Yeah, that could be interesting for sure.
Mm-hmm.
CBS has their predictions up for now for Bulls. So, All right. I guess maybe I can pull them up. Colorado, BYU.
Oh, man.
That's interesting for sure.
That is, you're right. Man, that Deontay Jackson, that was a heck of a hit right there. Oh, never mind. He just got called for pass interference, roughing the passer. Or we got a personal foul, roughing the passer. Never mind.
All right, when are we going to see going to commercial? So, I guess, are they revealing bowls now? Iowa
They should
Ole
be.
Miss. Yeah, am I missing this right now or what? Jeez. I must be.
Yeah, they're not showing it on ESPN, so they must be doing it somewhere else.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, there's
you're
no
right.
other
Like,
ESPN.
They're not. Where are you guys seeing these bowl reveals?
Yeah, not on FS1. Nope. Not a clue.
Okay, so I guess
Oh,
these are just
okay.
predictions.
These are predictions. Okay.
Okay. So we're not missing anything. Jared, are you good to stay on?
Yeah, I'm going to stay on, bud. Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna. Do you want to take a little break or are you good?
I'm good to go, bud. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna get a cup of coffee. I'll be back.
All right, bud. Yeah, guys. I mean, we're talking all these different bowl games. Don't currently have my phone's not on me, so I don't know how to look it up. I'll be right back, guys. Hey, guys. All right. So what do you have here? Yeah, so according to this website, I think this is the Bleacher Report. Yeah, it's like the Frisco Bowl has Memphis versus West Virginia, the LA Bowl, UNLV and Cal, Casper Bowl, you got Tulane and Vanderbilt, Murder Bowl Beach, you got Coastal Carolina, North Carolina, Armed Force Bowl with Navy and Texas Tech, the Fenway Bowl, Connecticut, Virginia Tech, Yeah, it's not. I don't know. I mean, these are pretty the subpar. Rutgers TCU at the Rate Bowl. That's not going to be a bad one. USC and Texas A&M in Las Vegas Bowl, December 27th. Pinstripe Bowl, Pitt versus Nebraska. Wow. They've got Miami versus Iowa State. That's crazy. Wow. I wouldn't think that would be the case. And then they have, for the Music City Bowl, I mean, Michigan and Ole Miss, I mean, yeah, that'd be one to watch. Iowa and Florida, that wouldn't be bad. Illinois and Alabama, like you said, Alyssa, that's crazy. Duke versus Minnesota. Yeah, I mean, there's potential for a lot of good bowl matches, yeah. I mean, if you're looking at Big Ten stuff, I mean, I focus primarily, if it's not Penn State stuff, like I always try to root for Big Ten when it comes to the bowl season. So, I mean, if you look at all these options, what is it? The worst one is Rutgers. I think that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Rutgers and TCU. I think Rutgers could play against them. Pitt and Nebraska. I mean, Pitt was doing really good at the beginning of the season, and it completely collapsed. And then it's Michigan, Ole Miss. I mean, Michigan has a shot. I mean, I think Ole Miss is going to take them pretty close, but ultimately I would say, yeah, I would probably go with Ole Miss in that one. Iowa and Florida. I mean, Iowa should have a shot at winning that game. And Illinois and Alabama. I mean, that would be a pretty cool statement if Illinois were to upset Alabama. Duke and Minnesota. I think Minnesota handles them easily. So you're looking at probably, the Big Ten having a good bowl season. Like, we should have like at least a 6-3, 7-2 kind of record outside, of course, teams like Ohio State and Indiana, us and Oregon. I mean, it's important for the Big Ten for us to have this type of performance for sure, but ultimately what we're looking at is to see if Penn State can finally just put the defensive stuff aside or issues aside, play calling aside. Again, you can't say that a lot of those plays that they ran the other night, I mean, it wasn't worth the risk if it wasn't going to be executed correctly. I'm so shocked at how they were able to be allowed to put those plays out and think that that was going to be a good idea. I'm amazed that these guys just figured those themselves into that. All right, listen, I'll make sure he gets that. Okay. Awesome. I appreciate that, bud. Listen, meanwhile, I'm trying to watch a little bit of this Pittsburgh game, and it's just, it's so abysmal. They're doing everything they possibly can to just make themselves look bad. I know that Cleveland has a good defense, but man, it's just rough. Man. It's going to be a rough weekend if I have to watch both Penn State and Pittsburgh lose. It's not a good look. Yeah, well. But, I mean, ultimately, you're just talking about going into this championship. I mean, we all knew that we had a shot to get into this. How was it going to look? I mean, did we ever think we'd be number one? I mean, we always want to be number one for sure, but we know that there are teams that constantly have the better game plan, the better coaching or recruits or whatever. It's just we're always trying to at least crack the top five. I mean, I think that's a respectable place for a team like Penn State. But ultimately, that's where it's at. I mean, we're between 5 and 10 in this bracket. So SMU should not be a problem. Boise State, I mean, you never know. I mean, certain teams, like, they definitely have every opportunity to upset us for sure. But, like, yeah, I mean, we're talking about getting every Big Ten team to, like, look as good as they possibly can. So, when you've been gone, but check college football news if you get a chance.
saw
Alyssa
that.
said to do that.
So is this being updated live, Alyssa? I wonder if it's like being updated live.
Yeah, Listed has been doing a good job at giving like all the updates on who's been accepting what bowl bids. I think that's like 4 or 5 of them have been so far.
He said, yeah, as you refresh, you get the updated ones. That's pretty cool.
That is.
Buffalo, Liberty, South Florida, San Jose, Ohio, Jacksonville State, Memphis, West Virginia, South Alabama versus Western Michigan. So, pretty much, I'll just keep watching Hulu to see what pops up.
Hey, but while you're doing that, I'll be right back, okay?
All right, yep. All right, everyone. I'm just going to keep watching the show so that we can see these other bowls. But, yeah. Interesting day. We got an easy bracket. We should be happy with where we're at, for sure. I looked, and they said Max has a deal with Disney to broadcast college football playoffs. Okay, interesting. All right. So, will you need HBO then to watch it? I mean, that would be another app thing, which I do have it, but still. I guess you would need HBO to watch these games.
I got that, luckily.
Dabo. We don't do NIL. We follow Jesus. Sweeney is on the screen right now. By the way, like, I don't think it's odd at all to, a lot of teams do it. A lot of people do it. Like being like, we're going to follow, God in our journey. We're going to follow Jesus. But what he said about NIL, he was like, we don't do NIL. We just follow God or something like that. It's like, well, Dabo, you still got to go to the portal, like you
Yep.
keep up, like you got to do that, man. So it was just kind of like an odd answer. It's just like, I don't know, just kind of an odd answer overall as to why he wouldn't like do NIL. I mean, it was just kind of, I don't know, but anyway, so yeah, this is like last year. We're kind of in the midst of waiting to hear what we're gonna see bowl game wise, but
Yeah.
yeah, seriously, yeah. I don't know, man. He was the same guy that said years ago players shouldn't be paid at all, and which I disagree with. I think there should be some form of payment, which there is now. So
Hmm.
it's a pretty nice facility he's got there, though.
Yeah. That's what they talk about. If they don't have the big spending on players, they have big spending on their facilities, which, I mean, it would be nice if you had both, but
No, Florida State didn't have a shot.
no.
April 8th. Maybe that's when they'll announce
Is that
playoff games.
Is that a blue white game? Oh.
I don't think so.
Okay.
So next year, I believe it's a 14-team playoff. So,
Oh my gosh.
already it's 14.
Well, what? We're going to slowly turn into like the March Madness, except it's December and January Madness?
Okay, so the judge will pass down his ruling, and already, like, PSU got to deal with Gatorade and such for getting players' NIL money. Okay. Gotcha. Yep, Ole Miss is playing Texas. We don't need to talk about it for 30 minutes. Clemson is playing Texas. Like, everybody calm down.
Right.
So, yeah, man. At the end of the day, like I said, we're set up pretty good. We should be happy about that. We had a strong showing last night. Once again, we beat ourselves.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man. So, the best thing we can do is focus on the schedule now. Focus on the here and now. You make a change in your life. Focus on the future. 18, 20 million. Yeah, okay. Which we could be at that for sure. But,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, man. So, Eagles just ran the Philly special. Or not the Philly special, well, I guess is it the Philly special, the tush push?
No. Philly special is the one where they do that double flip back. You know, the thing we tried to do with Tyler Warren, that's the Philly special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as I said, Franklin's press conference after the game, same song and dance, just BS. Really said nothing.
Yeah.
But like commercials and Manning doing the EA contract, yeah, it'll be interesting going forward, man. It'll be a 14-team playoff. A lot of money's going to be involved. It could be cap on each team, which makes sense. There would have to be. I mean, my God, there's a cap in the NFL. So.
No, bud. I'm watching this right now. Cleveland is just bullying Pittsburgh. It's embarrassing. It's just so bad. They can't get anything going. Their defense is swallowing up our offensive line like it's a bunch of freaking paper. It's terrible.
But hey, we got Tomlinism, so we're all right.
Right. But again, I mean, you had the excuses that you had the weather issues. You didn't like Thursday night games. And I mean, it's only 7-3, but it's just like, God, this is painful. I mean, can't get anything going. You don't have anyone to throw to. Again, it's like George Pickens is your only option with your offensive weapons. I mean,
at some point too, man, you have to ask yourself, like, as a fan, if we keep losing these games, like we keep losing these games to these teams that we need to beat.
Yeah.
You know, at some point as fans, like, you have to ask yourself, when is enough enough? When are we not going to go anymore? When are we not going to put up with it anymore? Essentially mediocrity. When are we not going to put up with it anymore? you have to ask yourself that as a fan. Are you going to still go to games? Like at some
Yep.
point, you have to really take a stand and say, we're not dealing with this anymore. We're not going to support this coach team until there's a change. Because
But could you imagine if we go up against SMU and lose? Could you imagine that, getting knocked out of the first round by a team like that?
Yeah. But you really have to ask yourself that question, man. Like, as a fan, at what point do you say enough is enough? And because if they keep doing what they're doing now, but they get 110,000 fans at every game, like, you have to ask yourself that question at some point as a fan. When is enough enough? When am I going to stop doing this? So, yeah, they do have great scout systems.
They do.
Good at drafting. But,
Yep.
Jared, like I said, man, I thought we'd see some bowl reveals, but it doesn't look like we're going to see them anytime soon.
Yeah. I get why we've been on for so long, but it's just like, yeah, it's not coming.
Yeah, but I'll be doing Penn State basketball here in a couple hours, so you guys stay tuned for that. But thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to jump off here.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for commenting. Subscribe, share with your friends, support us on Rumble, and we will see you guys, probably this week for a pregame at least. And then we'll take it from there. We'll kind of structure the schedule based around, kind of what we're looking at with playoff games and stuff. But we're going to hop off, guys. Again, thank you for coming on.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you this week at some point. So,
Take care, guys. Thank you too, bud.